Hi, my name is April and welcome to the Yoga Ranger Studio. I've had quite a few requests for a few more tutorials on some of the yin postures and all the different variations that you can take with each one, just giving you options in your practice for what may feel best for you to either go a little bit deeper or to make that a more accessible pose for you or just to find it to make it a sustainable pose. So today we're going to be focusing on Sphinx and Seal. Now, these two poses can seem really simple, but there's a lot of things going on here. They work with a lot of different meridians. In both of these poses, we're working with the bladder meridian that runs all the way down the back. We're compressing adrenals and kidneys, so working a little bit with the adrenals and kidneys. We're also opening the front side of the thighs, which would be our stomach and spleen meridians, and also the front of the chest and the arms and shoulders. So it works almost every single meridian in the body. So working with these two poses can be really helpful, and they're a great pose to just kind of do every now and then because they're pretty comfortable to do and they can hang out in them a little bit longer. So props that you could use some blocks, a blanket or two, and or a bolster. And we're just gonna start with the pose basic by itself. We'll start with Sphinx and we'll kind of move through Seal. So in Sphinx pose, you wanna take your feet a little bit wider. Flip the toes flat, or you can keep them propped like this if you like. And options for your elbows. So you can take the elbows further out to add a little less curve to the lower back. So if you have a lower back with a few issues or discomfort, you might want to take those elbows further out. You can bring palms together, palms flat. Different people have different rotations that are comfortable for them. For me, rotating palms flat is a little bit less comfortable, so I like to bring my palms together. You can take those elbows directly underneath the shoulders or a little bit back behind. This is going to make a little bit more lift and you're going to get a little bit more compression on that lower back space. So kind of find what works for you. Now here you want to roll the shoulders down and back. Let the heart pull forward, the belly pull forward. And if you have comfort in your shoulders to do this, you can relax the chest through the shoulders and drop it down in between those shoulders. If you have any rotator cuff injuries or issues from your past, you might want to engage just a little bit and lift up. If you feel too much in your lower back, you can always engage the core just a tiny bit to lift up as well. So think about just relaxing forward and down in this pose. Hanging out here. So with Seal, we're looking at the same pose with a little bit more. So you're going to take your hands a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. Turn the thumbs forward, fingers out. So normally we would have pointer finger forward or something like that, but we're turning them a little bit wide like a seal, and you're going to lift up. Now you can keep your elbows bent, or you can walk your hands out further, or even take them wider if that feels good for you. The narrower it is, probably the more you're going to find some lower back compression. And what you want to do in this pose is really relax the feet, relax the glutes, relax the lower back, and let the shoulders soften. So the habit is to kind of scrunch the shoulders up and hang out here. You want to just lift a little bit. There's a little bit of a yang aspect to this posture. And here again, just allow. Gravity's going to pull the belly button and the chest forward. Here again, you can keep the elbows a little bit bent. The closer to your body you take them, obviously the more lift you're going to get and the more you're going to get compression in the lower back. The further away, the less. So you're going to lessen the curve by distance. So if you were adding things onto these poses, one of the first things that I suggest is taking a blanket underneath the forearms. This is going to give you a little bit of a lift, and it's going to make a little bit more curve but with comfort. So here you can use a bolster as well, or blocks. You can take the blocks underneath the elbows. This is going to give you a little bit more curvature and it's going to open a little bit more of the front body if you're looking for that. If you wanted to decompress that a little bit, you could take this blanket underneath the hips or the belly, and this is going to ease some of that compression off the lower back into that lower back curve. Still going to give you a great stretch here in this pose. So we're going to activate all the same meridians, but it's going to be a little bit more comfortable to sustainably hold. You can put the blanket underneath the hips, or you can put it underneath the belly or underneath the chest in a roll. Here you can take the bolster, same thing. Some people have a lot more opening in their back, and they really want to get a little deeper there. This is going to, once again, add a lot more curve. You'll notice that my lower back is curved a lot more. I don't know how comfortable this would be for me to sustainably hold for 3 minutes, but for someone who has a lot of opening in the lower back, this might be an option for them, or even blocks to get a little bit higher. Here again, you can use this underneath the chest to give you a little prop. Take your arms down. This is going to help hold you in place without too much weight on your shoulders. So if you have shoulder issues where it's a little bit uncomfortable, you can soften into that and let the elbows soften into the bolster or blocks and let it give you that little natural curve and lift. Same thing here in seal pose. You can use that bolster to give you a little lift. Now in either one of these poses, you can add a little neck element to it. If you didn't want to hold your head up, you can always take the pose, drop your head down to a block at any height, and this is going to stretch the back of the neck, give you a lot of cervical spine stretch here. It's also great for calming and soothing the mind, because when you put a little compression on your forehead, you tend to soothe and calm a little bit faster. You can also use the bolster in a slightly different way, and or blocks. You can use it for your feet. So in Sphinx pose, you can take a version of it where you bend your knees, and you don't have to have the bolster for this, or you can take it where the bolster just holds them up a little bit. You're going to notice you're going to find like a middle ground here in this pose where you hang out with your feet and it's not a lot of work. You don't want to feel like you're holding them up the entire time, but the bolster can kind of help prop that up. You can also use this against a wall. So putting your feet against the wall, knees against the wall, you can use that to get a little bit more stretch. Each one of this is a variation that you can use to work for you, to find the depth of the pose that you want, depending on what you're working for. So if you're working to get more depth into the back, you might want to lift up a little bit more or use a prop to get you a little bit higher in the front, or bend the knees in the back and take your feet up toward the ceiling. If you're looking to get a little bit more of the front side of the body and opening the heart and chest, seal might be better posture, pulling the hands in a little bit further, tilting those elbows in a little bit further, using a prop underneath the elbows as well, using a prop underneath the hips. You can also use a bolster underneath the hips. You can even run it lengthwise down the body instead of crossways to give you that little bit of support to help you sustainably hold this pose. And really, any of these are going to get the same meridians. You're not changing the effect on the meridians or on your body. You're not changing the effect on the connective tissue. What you're doing is choosing a pose with the amount of support that you need that day and with whatever you're trying to achieve that day. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Look for a few more of these on some of the other poses. I've had a lot of people asking about poses like Swan and Sleeping Swan, and the ever wondering more options for dragon poses. And I will definitely be bringing those out to give you a few more options for people who kind of struggle with those poses. And they are poses that are difficult, and you want to find a certain amount of sustainable comfort in them. You want to feel that stretch, that movement, that pulling sensation. You want to feel sensation, but not so much that it's painful or hurts. So I want to make these accessible poses for you. If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, what else you would like to see under the tutorials as well as other classes. If you are not a subscriber, join me by clicking that subscribe button over here to your right-hand side, my left. I'd love to see you every single Thursday morning, bright and early, for a brand new practice like this and more. If you are looking for more in your practice, we'd like to explore your yin side a little bit more deeply, you can join me at theyogaranger.vhx.tv. There's a link up above and down below. This is a member site that has exclusive practices as well as ad-free YouTube videos like this and more. And we also have live calls, a practice calendar calendar to help you keep on your mat more often with a theme and journal prompts. Lots of fun stuff on that site, as well as a really great community. So we'd love to have you join us there. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care.